Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Derek.
Hello.
We're back with more Sunset Beach. Today we're discussing episodes 131 to 135. So I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So we still didn't get the new opening credits. I was so sure that at least by 135 we would have them.
Not yet.
I started 135 and I was like, right, this is it. And nope.
Oh.
So where should we start? I guess we could do Virginia, Michael, and Vanessa because that was kind of the smallest.
I was liking Virginia, seeing the beginning of her scheming.
Yeah, her little deviousness.
Yeah.
So Michael offers up the garage apartment, his garage apartment, for her and James, and he's gonna stay in Ray's room, or Casey's room.
I think he's staying in Casey's room, and then Gabby's taking Ray's old room.
Oh, right. Because they made a point of saying, well, Casey's gonna come back at some point, so that's only a temporary situation. And I'm like, right. Like, how long is Casey gonna be away? A month? If that, I can't imagine he's gonna be gone that long.
Right. Well, do you think they're just trying to buy Virginia time to find a place?
Right. So Vanessa's kind of questioning. She's like, were you really having a hard time finding an apartment? She's like, because I found one right away. So Virginia's starting to get defensive. She's starting to make devious looks with her eyes. Vanessa even is like, oh, have you dated?
Yeah.
She's like, because I know a few single guys that might want to go out with you. And she's like, I'm not really thinking about that right now. And she's like, bitch.
She was like, when I'm mobile, she was like,
yeah, she said it nasty. She's like, when I'm mobile.
I like it though.
And of course, Michael is walking in on Vanessa interrogating her and trying to push her along, and so he's accusing Vanessa of being jealous, which she is, but she has a reason to be.
Right.
We see Virginia purposely turn down an apartment and then lie and say that it was given away to the landlord's mother or whatever.
And also, she was waiting for them to come back, and she was on her crutches. She was looking out the window, and then she got on the phone. It was a phone call, and she was
phone call, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, "Here's devious Virginia."
James is still being cold to Michael, but he's still nice to Vanessa. And that was pretty much it with them, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We got a Tiffany reference, and a Spike reference. She was out walking Spike. Did we ever see her again?
Yeah, we did, because she leaves town.
Okay, she actually has a goodbye. She doesn't just
exit. Yeah, scene.
Doesn't disappear. Okay. I'm gonna guess and assume that she goes back to her parents.
I don't remember, but I remember her last scene with Gregory.
This was Gregory. Maybe
I think it was Gregory, or maybe Olivia, and maybe both of them.
If it's one or both, if that's her last scene, then I feel like she's getting paid off to leave. So Gabby is scheming hardcore now.
Yes.
She decides she's going to use Eddie to spill the beans that her and Ricardo were together the night that Paula got abducted.
Yeah.
And Eddie played right into that.
He did, yeah.
Because he thought, because he was spying on Gabby and Paula having a conversation and hugging, that Gabby spilled the beans. And then he just blurted it out. I don't know why. I didn't get why he would make that assumption that that's what she was.
And how did Gabby know that she was gonna do that? She just was kind of guessing. But that's what she wanted.
Yeah, and I don't like schemers like this. Like, I like a bad girl, but I don't like it when their motivation is just that they're jealous that the other person had what they didn't have.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of my problem with Gina on 90210. Like, I love Vanessa Marcel, but I never got behind her motivation. Like, she was jealous that Donna had everything growing up. So
Hmm.
she was gonna make Donna's life miserable. That
Yeah.
that I don't like that. And that's basically it. She tells that Paula had a good upbringing and that all her father did was talk about how great Paula was. And I'm like, if Paula was so great, why did he abandon her?
Right. Right. I don't think he had a choice. I think Elaine took her from him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so she confronts Ricardo about it and he says nothing happened. And she doesn't understand why they kept it a secret if nothing happened. And nobody's saying that it's because Ricardo felt guilty that he was with somebody else when she got abducted. Like, he didn't
Right.
know she was gonna be abducted. Like, it's not like he did it on
Yeah.
purpose.
Exactly.
Um, Nobody's saying that they kissed though, and I feel like that's gonna be another layer to this.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially since Gabby said nothing happened on my end, and she's like, "What the fuck does that mean? Nothing happened on your end."
Right.
So then she says the reason why she had felt like she had to leave the apartment was because she does the whole towel lie that Ricardo took the towel while she was in the shower.
Yeah.
Basically just feeding her the lies that she's feeding Mark.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, I'm not really a big Gabby fan
No,
this moment.
I don't know. Yeah, and Paula kept talking about how since she removed the tattoo that she can move on with her relationship with Ricardo, and I'm like, you mean fuck? Like,
Yeah, to
like,
Elaine. That's how she worded it to Elaine.
yeah, that's how she kept wording it, and I'm like, I know it's your mom, but yeah.
She healed fast. She's like, oh, no scar. And she literally just had it like a week ago, like the surgery
I
or whatever
know,
they
and
do.
she thinks that this is gonna solve all her problems. I'm like, Paula, I don't think so.
You need therapy.
Exactly.
um, Gregory had booked a vacation for him and Olivia
Hmm.
to Spain, was it?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know that she's pregnant and can't fly. Um, she comes up with the lie that it's because of her ulcer that she can't fly, which I don't know why he bought that. I've never heard that ever in my life.
Well, she said her ulcer was causing her high blood pressure, so that's why she can't
That's
fly.
a stretch.
Yeah, it is.
Cole had left Caitlin a message, like some secretive like mission that they had to go on because they're playing role playing spy, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if you will.
Mhm.
And she meets up with him. She sneaks down into the wine cellar of the deep and meets up with him, and he has like a whole candlelit dinner set up.
Mhm.
And she's like, "This is so exciting! Like, this is what he does all the time." Like, no, this is games.
Mhm.
And so he sets up a fake mission for her to retrieve a suitcase that basically just has dirty laundry in there.
Mhm.
So she sneaks into her mother's room in that evening gown while Gregory is in the shower and takes the suitcase that Olivia put under the bed. But it's not the one that Cole put with his dirty clothes. It's the actual Deschanel jewels. So all this time, Cole has been trying to get these jewels, and Caitlin just got them by accident.
Mhm. I had a feeling that's what would happen.
And he doesn't want to keep them because he feels like they're bad luck.
Mhm.
Um, they were left to Olivia because she was having an affair with the man that was paid off with them in exchange for Cole as a baby. So he doesn't want to keep them. Caitlin was very much like, oh, we can keep them.
Mhm.
um, so he goes to return them, and Caitlin's trying to distract her parents downstairs. Um, I guess Gregory had at some point taken the fake suitcase and put it in the safe in the bedroom because Cole broke into the safe and switched them out.
Right.
But Caitlin doesn't do a good job at like holding them off, and Cole gets caught in the bedroom. And Gregory thinks that he's got him red-handed, and then he like flips open the suitcase to like dump out the jewels, and it's all Cole's dirty laundry. And they basically have to admit to her parents that they were role playing.
Yeah, that's funny.
Meanwhile, in between all this, Cole and Olivia keep having flashbacks to like them having sex.
Never ends.
Because at some point Caitlin's like, how did you know there was a safe in my mother's room? And then flashbacks and sex.
Yeah, and how did you know about the pot or whatever it was by the window or something?
Yeah. Flashback to sex. So Caitlin's not telling Cole that her mother's pregnant. Do you think when he finds out, he's going to think it's his right away?
Yeah, for sure.
Caitlin and Cole did have sex, and she was like, I probably should have asked this before we started. She's like, but have you been tested?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, yes. He's like, the minute I knew we were going to take it to the next level, I got tested. And she's like, so the fact that we're using condoms is just so I don't get pregnant. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, would it be a bad idea if I did get pregnant? And I'm like, can you get married first? Like, I'm not trying to sound traditionalist, but like you're skipping steps. Like, you've been together for like 3 months.
Yeah. I was jealous of Vanessa Dorman in those scenes because she got to kiss Cole like that. I was like, oh.
25 years later, you're just like, damn bitch.
Yeah,
right. We have now Meg, while she's reading the diary, she has now inserted herself in the role of Maria. So now whenever we see Maria, it's Meg. Like even like we're seeing the drowning scene now, but it's Meg's voice. It's not whoever.
Yeah, and then she plays Maria in the flashbacks. I'm just like, can you hire somebody like not show her face?
In the scene where Ben ends up like choking her. At first, it was definitely somebody different because they had longer hair, but then when they showed the front, it was Meg, and then it just was Meg. So yeah, so then Meg decides to burn just one page of the diary. She doesn't burn the whole diary.
Yeah, that was so weird. I'm like, what are you doing?
And I'm like, she basically just burning the page that Annie inserted.
Right. And I thought maybe she would figure out that the page was inserted somehow by burning it, but she didn't. So
yeah. Annie wants the Deschanel jewels. She thinks that they're rightfully hers because they were her father's. She storms over to the Richards place. This is when the whole ulcer lie comes out because there's like a big crowd, and Gregory's like, well, I didn't want to like do this in front of everybody, but I was going to surprise you with a trip. So then Caitlin convinces them that maybe they should take a ride. I don't remember where, but apparently somewhere beautiful. That's not too far. So they're going to like spend the weekend or the night, and Olivia packs a million bags. That's actually when we find out that Tiffany's walking Spike. So yeah, I think that was it. Right? I think Caitlin was like, this is the perfect opportunity to tell him that you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Before they left. And Olivia's still kind of like, she doesn't know how she wants to handle this just yet.
Right.
And I'm like, girl, you better figure it out before you start showing. Or is the like first lie gonna be like, oh, I put on a little bit of weight?
Right.
I'm trying to remember. Bet had a line because she was asking Olivia if she asked Gregory about getting her a job.
Oh yeah.
I lost it. Every time she says something funny, I'm like, I'm gonna remember this, and then I forget it. Because she's just so quick and witty. Oh, it was with. Yes, I remember now. Okay, so it was with Annie. So Annie was complaining about like things getting shut off because she hasn't paid the bills because she's broke. And she's like, they cut my cellular bill off. And she's like, isn't there like a grace period? And she's like, well, how long haven't you paid it? She's like, well, daddy died in January. And she's like, it's July, so there's a grace period. And she went, she like went, or whatever. And she mentioned Olivia, not Olivia, Bet mentioned like having to get a job or whatever, and Annie cracked a joke about her getting married again because that's what she's good at. Elaine is like through with Gabby because she knows everything because Paula confided in her.
Yeah, I love when she says that's the worst advice I've ever heard.
Tim is still working with Annie to keep Ben and Meg apart. I guess Annie had planned to meet Ben at Grenadines, and that's why she told Tim to bring Meg there so that she could see Annie and him together. I laughed when the waiter comes over and she's like, oh, I'm not gonna have anything, I'm watching my figure, and Ben's like, don't worry, it's on me. And she's like, in that case I'll have the filet mignon and a glass of Merlot. And I'm surprised she wasn't like, bring me like the dessert menu or
right. Oh my god.
Meg had quit both jobs at the Java Web and the Deep, and I think she came to either clear out her locker or get her last check. And she came when she knew Ben wouldn't be there or was off. And Mark was like, I have bad news for you, Ben's here. And she sees Ben on the stage, and of course there's like longing looks, flashback to her as Maria, and
yeah.
Who am I missing? Is that everybody?
I think so, but I have a couple things.
Go ahead.
Virginia's voiceover started too. That was fun. She had a little voiceover at the end of her bickering with. She's like, "Not for long."
Yeah.
So that was
Gabby had it too, like under the PA.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Was it a voiceover though? Did she just speak out loud to herself?
I think she talked out loud to herself, like, okay. Paula, you're gonna get everything I didn't have, or something like that, or you're gonna get what you deserve, or something.
Right.
Okay, so Annie's impression of Olivia was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off. She's like, the daughter, I forgot what she said. It was so funny though. When she imitated Olivia, I was dying. It was so funny. And I don't think that's the first. I think that's the first of many times she does it, and it's pretty fun.
I miss seeing Sarah Buxton.
Yeah, she's so good. She's on the soap now, but doing her thing. Oh, Regina and Michael kissed.
Oh yes.
Very awkward, but Michael did not like it. But he like brushed it off like it wasn't a big deal. But
we got a phone call from Casey.
Yeah, we did.
And Michael said, he seems optimistic, but Michael doesn't seem as optimistic about it. I guess he's trying to be real because it is stage 4, but I don't know, whatever it is.
I thought it was kind of creepy of Tim to like walk into Meg's room while she was sleeping.
I was like, it's like super early in the morning. She's asleep, and he's like fully like in his suit, like just sneaking in.
Yeah,
very creepy. He's like, he said something like, "I heard you like
calling out
or whatever," and I'm like, because you were in her room. It's not like you were like in a different building and you're like, I heard you screaming, so I came to check on you. Like, no, you're a creep.
There's no boundaries on this show, because Annie had a scene at Ben's where she was like, I'm gonna make a phone call and then
I'll lock up.
And I'm like, what? Ben didn't seem to mind either. I'm like, Ben gets mad that people are in his house all the time, but he's okay with Annie making a phone call. Why can't you make a phone call at your own house? Oh yeah, her phone's cut off.
Well, her landline was working because that's how she called Ben to meet her for lunch.
Okay.
Because she was like, "Oh, thank." She even had a line.
She
Thank
could
God
have
to see that.
walked home and called on her landline then.
Yeah, she literally is next door.
Yeah. I don't know why she had to use Ben's phone.
Any other time, she just barges into Ben's house. She didn't call him.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I even like took a mental note that he was at his house. I'm like, so why didn't she just barge in like she always does?
Oh yeah, and then I have the barrette in Gabby's hair. What was that all about? I was like, why are you wearing a little barrette? You look weird.
Annie's starting to think more that it's not really Meg that's keeping her and Ben from being together, that it's more Maria, that he's still hung up on Maria.
Yes.
So she ends up in her secret room, art studio, whatever, where Ben tried to set the bed on fire.
Yeah.
And she's kind of laying across the bed, touching the burnt spot. Like, I think that's when she says, "It's you, Maria."
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have.
We saw Sean, but he didn't really do much. He was just in that like scene where Olivia and Gregory were going for the weekend, and they're like, "Behave, don't get into trouble, don't burn the house down."
Yeah. It's funny that he doesn't have much to do right now, especially since he's Aaron Spelling's son.
Right. I feel like I've seen interviews with Aaron Spelling or other writers or producers, and they were like, "Yeah, he was kind of like, make sure Tori has a line on in every episode on 90210." But all right, anything else before we go?
I don't think so.
All right, well, thank you for joining us for another week of Sunset Beach. As always, you can find us on all the socials and Patreon at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great day.
Good night.